Hey, I'm sorry that I missed 2 videos in a row. I had to get a gerbil removed from my butt. No, I'm just kidding. I actually moved to LA, but I am open to new things. If you've ever met a nurse, they've probably been able to tell you more than one nightmare story of something or someone that they've dealt with. I once had a nurse friend of mine tell me about a patient that ripped their catheter out. Keep it together, Matt. But as gross as those stories are, they're day-to-day occurrences. Nothing that would go down in the history books. Not like the following stories, anyway. From things being swallowed, to things being crammed in unsunny places, to creatures finding a new home within people, gerbils, there's really no limit to the amount of that you're about to experience. So, without further ado, let's get right into it. These are the 10 craziest things found inside living people. For the record, I was joking about the gerbil thing. Please don't make memes. Number 1 is a plant. Plants. They make oxygen for us, provide us with nourishment, and sometimes are pretty good at defending our phones from zombie apocalypses, am I right? However, they're also very good at finding a way into the human body in disturbing ways, which could literally leave you dying for air. In early August of 2010, 75-year-old Ronan Sevadan of Cape Cod, Massachusetts, was at his wit's end with a nagging cough that he had, so fearing that he had a tumor growing inside his lungs, he had a series of x-rays and tests done. And as it turns out, there was something growing, but it was no tumor. It was actually a pea pod. That's right, kids, one more reason not to eat your vegetables. Ronan had somehow inhaled the seed while eating a meal, and with the warmth and moisture inside his body, the pea actually sprouted. See, pea plants actually begin growing by germinating under the soil, with no need for sunlight, so Ronan's lung provided the perfect place to begin the process. Luckily, a surgeon actually was able to remove it, and Ronan continued eating vegetables like a champ. Probably less peas though. Number 2 is a nail. Hey, here's some free advice. If you ever have yourself a little accident while working and wind up with any foreign object in your brain, do yourself a favor and go to the hospital. It's okay, you can finish building that birdhouse or installing that drywall, whatever you're doing, just take a break and go get it removed, okay? Okay. That's advice that 32-year-old Dante Attulo could have used on January 20th, 2012, after he accidentally shot himself in the head with a nail gun while building a shed. The Orlando Park, Chicago resident initially thought the doctors were joking when they said what they found in his x-rays, but soon realized that it was actually a miracle that he survived. And this was no small nail. It was actually 7.5 centimeters long and tore right through the middle part of his brain, just millimeters from hitting the part which controlled his motor functions. The thing is that the accident actually occurred days prior, as the man thought that he had just been grazed by the nail, so he cleaned the wound and finished the shed. It spent an incredible 36 hours in his brain before nausea finally brought him to the hospital where the embedded nail was discovered. I'm happy to say that the surgery was a success. In fact, you could say that the doctors nailed it. I quit. Number 3 is a fish. Okay, there's ow, and then there's ouchie mama! And the latter is definitely the case with this one. In 2007, a 14-year-old boy from India entered a hospital complaining about pain and the inability to go pee-pee. Well, doctors soon discovered why when x-rays revealed that the teen had a 2-centimeter long fish in his bladder. According to the boy, he was cleaning his aquarium and needed to pee, so he did the logical thing and brought the fish with him. But somehow, while emptying his bladder, the fish wiggled free and somehow swam up his, pee hole. Now first, doctors tried using special forceps, but Nemo was just too darn slippery. So they actually ended up resorting to using a device reserved for removing bladder stones, which actually managed to free the fish and let the boy pee free again. After the fish was removed, the boy was actually admitted into counseling in an attempt to deal with any trauma that he endured. That kid is never gonna eat fish sticks again. Fish sticks. Fish dicks. What were we talking about? Number 4 is a knife. Okay, first off, real men don't complain or even go to the hospital when they get stabbed in the face, apparently. Nah, they just live with it for 4 years until people start complaining about their bad breath and it gets so hard to eat solid foods that they finally have to do something about it. Well, in February of 2011, 30-year-old Li Fuyan from Yunnan province, China, went to the hospital complaining about headaches, bad breath, and trouble breathing and swallowing. That's when he discovered that he was not only a walking miracle, but that he had been one since an altercation during a robbery in 2007. In the fight, Lee was actually stabbed in the head with a 10-centimeter long blade. not funny, which entered under his jaw, broke off, remained undiscovered for 4 years, and then finally forced him to go to the hospital. Unbelievably, no scar was even visible, and there was no other evidence that the blade existed, so Lee went on with his life. During a long, strenuous surgery, doctors were able to remove the object from the man's head, which they said could have hit his carotid artery or many of the other parts in his head that would have instantly killed him. But somehow, this blade found a perfect path through his face. Obviously, this guy doesn't fly very much because that could have been discovered at the airport. Number 5 are bugs. Earmuffs, children. Earmuffs. Unfortunately, bugs are not strangers to living in human bodies. Spiders, ticks, and other parasites have been known to burrow in for the long haul, creating all kinds of problems. Well, one man in India went to the hospital with scratching sounds and pain in his head, only to have an 8-centimeter long live cricket pulled out of his ear. Oh. Then there's Hendrik Helmer of Australia, who had a 2.5-centimeter long cockroach removed from his ear. Okay, Matt, that's enough. I don't want to hear no more. Oh, there's one more. Neither of those stories compare to the bizarre story of Michael Gorman, who, on September 26, 2014, had a moth fly up his head and into his ear. This is basically what happened. The moth flew at him, he smacked at it, but instead of pushing it away, he pushed it up into his ear where it crawled in deeper. But it gets weirder because that's when friends went after it with a tweezer and found another surprise. A black tick had already claimed Gorman's ear as its home, but the moth had found its way past that. Removing the first tick, Gorman's friend then spent 2 minutes trying to remove the moth before finally getting it and relieving the big man's pain. I feel for this guy, but he needs a lesson in personal hygiene. First there was a tick, then a moth. Bugs be taking residence in your head, son. Number 6 is a hairball. Some people have to be reminded on occasion that they're not a cat. Well, I can think of at least one person who does, and that's 18-year-old Apiri Alexieva from Kyrgyzstan, who in mid-2014 was hospitalized when she was having severe stomach pain. She literally could not eat a single thing or drink anything without being sick. Even drinking water ended up with her throwing up, which has led doctors to discover that she had a severe blockage in her stomach. So surgeons ended up operating and removed a tritrobazor, which is a scientific name for a hairball. Oh, but you probably think it was just a tiny little cat-sized hairball. No, it weighed 4 kilograms. The disgusting mess was on the verge of killing her. She was badly malnourished and dehydrated due to the blockage. The hairball itself was made up of the teenager's own hair and various hairs and fibers that she lifted from floors and carpets of her home. According to the surgeons, as soon as they cut into her stomach, the strands almost ended up immediately popping out. There's a nice visual for you. The condition that she had that made her do this is called trichophagia and compels the person to eat hair. However, she ended up making a full recovery. Although in seeing what that hairball looks like, I'm not sure that I will. Number 7 are worms. We live in a world of delicacies where some, if prepared improperly, can kill you. Such is the case with eating improperly cooked meats or accidentally ingesting feces of infected animals that are used to grow some vegetables. And these conditions can lead you to have a parasite inside you called a tapeworm, a creature that often measures several meters long by the time you realize that it's even inside you. Many people have had giant tapeworms removed from them, the longest being over 25 meters in length. But for one unnamed 50-year-old man from China, the size mattered far less than the location. In June of 2012, the man had a tapeworm removed from his head. According to x-rays dating back to July 2008, the parasite had been living comfortably, enjoying meals consisting of the man's brains for 4 years. During that time, it moved completely from one side of the brain to the other, enjoying all the little food scraps along the way. To this day, the man still deals with the side effects resulting from the creature living inside his brain. The moral of the story here, kids, is to cook your meats, wash your vegetables, and wash your hands, because you never know what you're gonna be eating. Number 8 are utensils. Hungry? Why wait for the meal to come? There's silverware right there. At least I suppose that's what Margaret Dalman was thinking when she was out for dinner one night. In October of 2009, the 52-year-old Netherlands resident was in the hospital complaining about severe stomach aches. So doctors took some x-rays and discovered what at first appeared to be a squid-shaped object inside of her. But as soon as they cut into her to remove it, they realized that what seemed to be a cephalopod was actually multiple pieces of cutlery. Surgeons removed 78 spoons and forks from her stomach. 78! Ironically, she had no choice but to go under the knife for forks and spoons. She was quoted as saying, "I felt the urge to eat silverware. I could not help myself." That's how I imagine she spoke. Number 9 is a vibrator. Oh boy, okay, while normally a vibrator may not seem like it's something that would be on a list of odd things to be removed from people, this one makes it on account of what happened after the vibrator got lost. See, a man who asked not to be named because of what I can only imagine would be severe embarrassment was enjoying the company of an artificial stimulator when it became lodged deep in his bum. So lodged, in fact, that it almost killed him. Now, clearly being a genius, self-taught general surgeon, the man grabbed the nearest sterile, clean operating room instrument, a pair of salad tongs from the utensil drawer, and went to work attempting to pull out the vibrator. Salad, anyone? However, after getting a hold of what I'm now going to call Buzz McWangerton, the man quickly realized his error as the salad tongs became lodged as well. Looks like the medical training that he received watching Grey's Anatomy must have been pretty basic. He ended up going to the hospital and getting both said items removed from his butt. And number 10 is a sibling. I'm going to close out this list with what has to be the craziest thing that could be actually inside you right now. And that is your own biological sibling. Yep. Now don't freak out, but your baby brother or sister could be stealing your nutrients from your body right now. Okay, well, you probably would have noticed by now, but in June of 1999, a man in India named Sanju Bhagat lived for 36 years ashamed of his big belly, which he believed was just that, a big belly. Doctors assumed that he had a tumor when he couldn't lose weight and decided to do a surgery to remove it. Almost immediately, they realized it's not a tumor. Nope, not a tumor. Instead, it was another man. It was his twin brother, complete with feet, hands, and even hair that was removed that day. The mutated boy survived by acting like a parasite, absorbing much of the nutrients that he took in with each meal. To make it even more disturbing, the twin even grew fingernails, which were several inches long by the time that he was taken out. Bhagat recovered fully and is now living a normal life. Though, while he was initially teased for looking pregnant, he's now teased for having the baby. So those were the 10 craziest things found in living people. If you guys have any other stories, keep them to yourself. No, I'm just kidding. Leave them in the comments. I want to know because I'm weird like that. But as always, thank you guys so much for watching. Remember to subscribe to my channel because I upload videos every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday, unless I'm moving to another country. On the right, you'll find 2 of my most recent videos that you can press or click on your screen right now in case you missed them. And don't forget to check out my second channel, the link of which is in the description, and I will see you guys on Thursday. Have a great day. Bye!